Welcome to the Me and Money podcast, where your hosts and certified financial planners, Matt Fizell and Elliott Appel, share their thoughts on hot topics, important concepts, and real-life stories in personal finance. Hear from Matt and Elliott as they share lessons learned in their own financial journeys and those they've witnessed throughout their careers while helping clients. Have a question you'd like to hear discussed on a future episode of the podcast? You can reach out to Matt or Elliott or drop your question at the link listed in the show notes. Before we get to the episode, we'd like to remind you that while both Matt and Elliott are financial planners, they are not your financial planner, and this podcast is only intended for educational purposes. For full disclosures, please be sure to listen to the end of the episode or check out the show notes on your favorite podcast platform. Now, on to the show with your hosts, Matt Fizell and Elliott Appel.
Welcome back to another episode of the Me and Money podcast. We're in our final episode of the Stoplight series, as we've started calling it. I think this is going to be the fun one, right?
For sure. I think this is going to be the spicier one.
Thou shall not, right? And I'm sure our list is longer than this, but I think these are like not the super spicy ones, but I think we could probably turn some of the spicier ones into their own episode. But I think these are great ones that are pretty applicable to just about anyone. So
yeah, start us off.
Okay. I'll start us off.
I started the last few. Why don't you start this one?
Yeah, I'm going to let you have the one that you brought up at the start, but I'm going to steal your second one
Fair.
Because it's the one I can almost immediately diagnose in every client that is about to start working with me. Not having an estate plan or not checking your beneficiaries. I think this is one that it does kind of require like an odd amount of maintenance sometimes. Like, yeah. I'm just going to put that out there, like with especially 401ks or employer benefits, like those things tend to change over time, or they change vendors or providers or whatever. And I can't tell you how many times I've had that happen with the client and they forget to, they just want to click through and get the setup done, and they don't realize that their beneficiary information didn't carry over and there's no beneficiary there. So that and life insurance at work as well. Usually like a private policy, a little bit less maintenance, but the amount of people I have seen, I don't know if I've had, that'd be a fun thing to look into. I don't know if I've had a parent family start with me and have a fully executed estate plan. So, parents with children having a fully executed estate plan is pretty rare from what I've seen. I would not like to see that statistic of the general population because I think it would make me a little bit sad. But not having a plan for what's going to happen after you're gone it's pretty reckless, if you ask me.
Yeah, I would like to make a t-shirt. So if there are people listening, a random stranger is walking down the street and he has like no estate plan, no life insurance, like what would that say for you to wonder or explore that more? Because this has been in my head for a while, and I know this is probably not the time or place, but I am genuinely curious if you're listening. I would like to start more conversations with random people or people I know but don't know super well. Because like you, I am shocked at the number of people who like have kids, sometimes grown kids, and have not had an estate plan that entire time. It's a very scary thing when I meet those people. It's like, what happens if something happens to you? Like,
I don't know.
Exactly. Like, do you not like? It just
haven't really thought about it.
And I get it. Like, it's a scary thing to think about. We're not sure where to go and all that. But I total agreement. Before you know it, like, or you have an old plan, like you were saying, you didn't update your benefit. Like, what if you have an old IRA and you got divorced? Like, now your ex-spouse is maybe getting some benefits. Is that what you like? It's just one of those things, like not having a estate plan, not updating your beneficiaries consistently. And it's hard. Like I get it. As you get older, there's more plans, there's more stuff. That's another reason to simplify. But being proactive about that, particularly during life changes, it's super important.
If you do have one, like, and I've seen this too, like it's either no estate plan or it's like, oh, we got a will when we had the kids and the kids are now 35. Like, well, I bet there's some people who are either no longer around or no longer the people that you want in your estate plan. So again, it's just one of those things like, there's got to be a better way to do this and like get people engaged in that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go around Madison, wear some shirts like, do you have an estate plan, and do, like the hot mic recording.
Like a
downtown.
little video. Do you have an estate plan? Do you have life insurance? And then,
do you know what an estate plan is?
That's true. Yeah, I wish there were a better name.
I don't want to do life insurance because then they'll think we work for certain companies. But
that's why I think like the t-shirt, maybe say like, I don't sell life insurance, or I'm not an attorney. Like, that's what I want to know. What would the t-shirt have to say to not be scared, to like truly just have a stranger want your best interests at heart?
You're going to have to rebrand that a little bit, because otherwise it's going to read about as small as every disclaimer.
That's what I like. That's why I need help. What does that need to say? Like, how does it work?
Okay. So
anyway,
ideas for the t-shirt, submit to either Elliott at kindnessfp.com or Matt at planwithharmony.com, and we will gladly take your ideas. I got your email right?
Please. Yes, it is Elliott.
Okay.
ELLIOTT. I'm the double, 2 L's, 2 T's.
I love it. I always have to tell people I'm 1C, 2 L, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Okay, next one.
Yeah, it's Europe.
Can we swear on these?
Sure. I'll just put the explicit tag in the.
Okay. Timeshares. Fuck timeshares. Like that. and I mean that wholeheartedly. So for me, like, yes, I would say there's like 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million, 1 in 100 million. I don't know what the statistic is where timeshares might be able to work out. But why I don't like timeshares is you're essentially locking yourself into a vacation system that you can't get out of. It's like the most illiquid, and it's not an investment at all, but it's the most illiquid vacation possible. Like, and I'm getting ramped up here, and I apologize for, Matt's laughing at me here, but it's just one of those things like, why, like, the cost is usually more once you factor it in over time. You can't get out of it. You have heirs online asking, like, how do I disclaim this? And they don't know the word disclaim, but they're like, how do I not take on this timeshare because I don't want it and it's so bad? Or I took it, like, that was a mistake. How do I get rid of it? When people are selling timeshares for $1 or a penny or $0 just to get rid of it, or hiring attorneys or companies to figure out how to get it back to the company, like, there's a huge problem there. Again, could it work out for you? Maybe. But I'm willing to say, no, never do it. Like, if you want to go somewhere, pay for the hotel, pay for whatever it is. I met, I think, one person in my entire time doing this. They were happy with their timeshare situation, but I'm really curious, because they were getting up there in age. I'm really curious at some point when they can't travel, how they're going to feel about that timeshare when they have those ongoing maintenance expenses and everything that they have to pay for when they can't use it, and or their kids aren't interested, or someone else not interested. So I'll get off my high horse there and see what you want to add or subtract.
Yeah, it's pretty general rule of thumb in financial decisions. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Yeah, we have my mother-in-law. She got this timeshare that she has in Hilton Head as like a graduation present from her mom. And it's like the middle of July in Hilton Head, which is like swampy hot, like not really the best time to be there. And yeah, I just don't think there's really any way they can get rid of it. I think they've tried to sell it back for like $1 and they still wouldn't do that and all that. So it's a mess. I think there are some companies out there that actually can help. Another strategy I've heard is like, just don't pay anything and wait for them to like place a lien on it or try to like seize it or something. Like, at least you'll then get to the right place to talk to people, but not legal advice, not financial advice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I researched how to get out of them. I came up with there are no good solutions. There are solutions, but it's sort of a crapshoot.
Yep. Roll the dice for sure. Okay. I don't really have much to add. I think your F-bomb really drove the point home.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. Just don't do it.
Don't take those free seminars where you get a trip or, a gift card or a dinner. Just don't, because they know what they're doing. Like, once they get people there, they know they're going to convert a percentage of them, and it just might be you. So be careful.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Yeah. On that note, you know, tax evasion, just don't do it. I think this is one, and I would agree with what you said before the episode. I think there's more people doing this than we realize. Like, I think they think they're using a loophole, but in reality are just kind of committing tax fraud. Is it malicious tax fraud?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But I also just don't think most people realize, like, and have probably not yet been through an audit of what happens when, personal expenses or, fringe expenses or not easily justifiable expenses for a business show up in an audit, and what that can do and how many problems that can create for you down the road. I think we kind of joke about it. Like, the S Corp election is pretty much 90% like abused. I don't know.
I don't know where the stat lies, but
I'm just throwing it out there. I see a lot of people elect S Corp, and it's like, yeah, you made $10,000 last year. Like, I don't know about that.
And again, that's basically saying people aren't reasonably compensating themselves how they probably should be.
Right. There are some legal situations where you have to elect S Corp right out of the gate. So, like, this is why you should talk to an attorney when you start your business. But yeah, you just don't do it, like not reporting income, not being kosher with your business expenses, trying to write down a lot of income when you have no justifiable reason to do it. Pretty easy. Don't do those things. What would you add to that?
I mean, I think a simple one that a lot of people, it's not malicious by any measure, but the 1099 interest, those forms usually aren't produced unless you have more than $10 in interest. Technically, though, you're still supposed to report it. So if you get $5 worth of interest from your bank and a form wasn't reported, you still are supposed to report that on your tax form. And I know a lot of people don't. Again, it's not malicious, but it's definitely wrong. So it's just some of those simple things where some things you don't know, right? Like, oh, I didn't know. Like, I filed the tax form. There's other things like business deductions where people are like, oh yeah, I can definitely deduct that. It's like, well, that's not, if you read the IRS code, that's not in the spirit of what they're trying to do. And then there's people who just totally like, just totally out of left field, like totally wrong.
Yeah.
But I think the business deductions is a big one a lot of times, where people are either deducting things that are personal in nature or aren't able to be deducted, or like partially able to be deducted. Again, I'm not an accountant, but just like hearing what other business owners do, or what friends of business owners do, or accountants talking about that, it's very widespread.
Yeah. There was one accountant that I just never will forget them. Early in my career, where they literally brought a sheet into the meeting, and it started green on one side, it was red on the other, and then the middle was gray. And they would always point to like, this is a red thing. Like, we're not doing that.
I like that.
If you want to do that, go work with someone else, because I'm not doing that. Like, so yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. I think this is just a word of caution. Like, if your accountant is only trying to sell you on how much of a refund they can get you or how little in tax you can pay, probably where there's smoke, there's fire. And you might just want to reevaluate that. Like, again, if you go back to the green light episode, we're all for tax avoidance and being smart about how much tax you pay. But if your accountant is magically finding a way to write off all of your income all the time, I think there's some questions that need to be asked, or you should go talk to someone else. I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Yes. And be very leery of what's purported on social media.
God, don't even get started there.
I just think it's worth calling out, because I think there's a lot of people who claim to be tax experts or successful business owners. And I remember one video, I think it was something about cars and registering cars in a different state. And it was tax fraud. And he was basically telling people to do it. And he found out that's not eligible and was arrested. Like, he sort of made an example of, so people would recognize that. So it just, like, there's some things in the tax code that aren't clear. And I'll be the first to, like, there are certain things out there that do fall in the gray zone. And a good accountant will tell you we can take an aggressive or a conservative position with how we want to handle this. Because essentially, at the end of the day, if you're audited, you have to be willing to live with the consequences of what that audit finds. But there's just some things that aren't right.
And I'm going to add one more note to the influencer thing. You have no idea like where those people are. Like,
sure.
Because you're not just dealing with federal taxes here. We're dealing with state taxes. So if your favorite
county or city, right? Like
exactly. Like there's so many layers to that question. So just don't take tax advice from social media unless they're a CPA and then you choose to work with that person, because I'm sure they're not dumb enough to give tax advice on their social media. So
yeah, but I do enjoy the videos out there where they'll talk, like an influencer will talk about it and then they'll talk about how it actually works in the tax code. Those are very beneficial.
Yeah, there's good stuff out there, but drop in the bucket compared to the bad stuff, I think. And
for sure.
Again, if it just, I gotta say it, because LLCs are not tax designations. Like, just if you see that on the social media, run for the hills.
Should we dive into the last one?
Yeah. Why don't you jump in on that one?
So the red light would be shopping insurance solely on price. So I know a lot of people are out there like, hey, and I feel your pain. My homeowner's insurance premium went up 11% this year after going up, I think, double digits last year. So a lot of people are feeling the burn of, hey, I'm seeing double digit increases. Should I shop around? The potential answer is, I think every few years it makes good sense to shop around. But we need to compare apples to apples and see what are the actual coverages, right? Are we reducing our liability coverage to save money, in which case we're exposing ourselves to more risk down the road? What's the claims experience like? And I know that's hard if you're just going with an agent, but if you work with an independent broker, they might be able to shed some light on, hey, if your car actually gets in a crash, or I don't know, a tornado takes out your house, what's the claims experience, right? Are they going to pay on time and be easy to work with contractors? Or are they going to lowball you on everything and not pay out your claim very efficiently? I mean, there's something to be said for all of that. I'm seeing that locally, just like in Madison right now, is different claims experiences with different insurance companies because of the hail we had. And some people are finding out on the other side, oh, this company I haven't been paying a ton of money to, like, it was nice to save on the premiums, but now my car has been unusable for weeks and I don't know when it's going to be usable again.
Yep. I would 100% agree. And then I think I would just add to that, like, don't be loyal to your insurance company. Like, I think this is one of the biggest like oxymorons in society where, we condemn the big pharma or the big health insurance companies or the big hospitals or healthcare in general. But then we're like, oh my gosh, this agent that I've had for 20 years, like, he's the greatest person ever. And the truth is that agent works for a big insurance company. And if big insurance company doesn't like the amount of claims that they're paying on your properties or your personal property, like, they're probably going to drop you. So that loyalty is a one-way street. And I do not think you should be paying more or just emotionally being loyal to that company, because the second that they don't want to be loyal to you, they're just going to run for the hills. So don't be in a one-way relationship with your company.
For sure.
Or agent, for that matter. I'm not saying agents are terrible people, but at the end of the day, like, they're representing the insurance company that
not you
is not going to be loyal to you. So
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's too much to say on that one. I think you hit the nail on the head, and it's really good to just keep them honest, understand your options, and make informed decisions.
Always good advice.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was fun. I think we'll save some of those spicier, red lights for other episodes, because they do warrant their own full episode, most likely. So
for sure.
This was fun, though.
I enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Me and Money podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Have a question you'd like to suggest for a future episode? Drop Matt or Elliott a question at their email, or use the linked form in the show notes. Like what you heard? It would be a tremendous help to us in our mission of having real conversations about personal finance by leaving us a review on your favorite podcast app. A few words can go a long way in connecting those looking for content like ours on their app of choice. You can also support the show by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thanks again for listening, and be on the lookout for future episodes soon.
The Me and Money podcast is hosted and produced by Harmony Outsourcing Services LLC. Matt Fizell is an investment advisor representative of Harmony Wealth L.L.C. Elliott Appel is an investment advisor representative of Kindness Financial Planning LLC. However, the views and opinions expressed by Matt and Elliott in this podcast are not intended as individualized investment advice on behalf of Harmony or Kindness, or as tax, accounting, or legal advice. Although we gather information from sources that we deem to be reliable, we cannot guarantee the accuracy, timeliness, or completeness of any information prepared by any unaffiliated third party. When specific investments or types of investments are mentioned, such mention is not intended to be a recommendation or endorsement to buy or sell the specific investment. Harmony is a registered investment advisor authorized to do business in the states of Wisconsin and Texas and other jurisdictions where exempted. Kindness is a registered investment advisor authorized to do business in Wisconsin and Washington and in other jurisdictions where exempted. Registration as a registered investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. This website contains links to the Harmony and Kindness websites that provide general information about the advisory services offered by Harmony and Kindness. These links are provided as a convenience only. Harmony and Kindness can only provide individualized services after you sign an agreement and receive required disclosures. Users of this website may, but are not required to, engage the services of Harmony or Kindness for advisory services. Please remember that all investments involve varying degrees of risk, and the future performance of any specific investment or investment strategy is not guaranteed to be profitable or equal to any historical performances. As a final note, we'd encourage you to reach out to your financial professionals before implementing any of the strategies or concepts discussed in this podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.